Okay, we transferred our pattern to our snowman, and I took a pencil and went over a little darker. You can do that so you can see the lines. I try to keep the lines in general as light as I can because then it won't show through the paint, but for doing the video I decided it needs to be a little darker so you can see what I'm doing. So he's all ready to paint. And I'm going to base coat him. This will be on base coating and how you base coat things. And what a base coat is just what it sounds like. It's the first coat of paint, and you'll probably wind up shading and highlighting it. I chose the little snowman because he's got a lot of different techniques in it, and I can show you how to do a lot of different things with him. I like to base coat in general, going from the lightest color to the darkest color. That way if you make a mistake or go over your line a little bit, the next color will kind of correct it or cover it up a little bit. I'm going to start with buttermilk paint. Even though he's a snowman and he's white, I rarely base coat things either white or black because it doesn't give you any room to add value to it, meaning highlights or shadows. You can't shade pure black and you can't highlight pure white. So if you start with the off color, it gives you room to give your piece more depth. So I start out by putting a little bit of buttermilk paint in the palette. I like bubble palettes like this, and I keep a little cup of water in the middle. This is what I call my little water. It's a clean water that I use for float shading and for thinning the paint. I have a larger container of water that I use for actually rinsing my brushes, and that'll get dirtier quicker and really clean your brush. I also keep a lot of folded paper towels next to me for mishaps, which never happen, of course, especially with cats. And I keep a paper towel under here for blotting quickly. I want to dampen my brush. I use DecoArt paint, and DecoArt is a little bit thicker. It's nice because it gives you really good coverage. You don't want the paint too thick, and you don't want lines in it, so you have to kind of make it a nice consistency. Use a little bit of water. It's better to put several light coats on your piece than one heavy coat, and usually it takes more than one coat. I like base coating in flat brushes because you don't get lines as much as when using round brushes, but that's your own preference. You'll figure it out as you paint more. And just start by doing light coats. Add some water as you need to. Now I'm going to go over, just to show you that you can, this is the handle of the broomstick that's going to be brown. But some of the details, it's much easier to just go over them because you'll see through the paint once it dries. It's another advantage of doing a thin coat and keeping them light. You could see there, I believe, you could still see your line. Oh, I don't have to do that. I forgot he's all white. That's his arm. Now the first base coat usually doesn't look great, so don't get worried. It usually takes at least 2 coats to get really good coverage. Just smooth it out so you don't have any chunks. On pieces like this, you want to wrap the base coat color around the edge of the piece. So you just kind of tap that. And again, especially with plywood with the little stripes, you're going to want to go a couple coats with it. And blend it. acrylic paint, it also dries very, very quickly, you're going to find. So you kind of want to work fast with it. Like, you don't have to go really fast, but especially you don't want to put too much water in it. And for the inside area, I need a round brush. This is in between the scarf. Now we're going to go back to his face. And again, I'm going over his nose because it won't affect how it looks at the end. And you could still see the lines are very clear, especially since I traced over them and they're darker. You'll be able to find where to put the nose. And now I'll go second coat. See, this is almost already dry. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it looks darker. Second coat's always easier, because you don't have to be as attentive with the little corners and things like that. White is done. The snowman's body's done.